Thank you for joining us for New York Living. Hey, listen, the economy is on quite the roller coaster ride. Inflation remains high, but actually so is the hiring rate.
Well, the U.S. added more than 370,000 jobs in June, fending off worries of a recession. For now.
For now, yeah. Many economists say it is likely that a recession will happen. And here with some tips on how you can prepare for it is friend of the show, Kristen Myers, the editor-in-chief of the personal finance website, The Balance. Before anything, you look fantastic.
No recession of the 10.
Well, you know, thank you.
I mean,
I try.
We can talk about doom and gloom, but let's at least look glowy and
That's
cute
right.
while we do it.
I brought it just for you.
Well, thank you. So what is the first thing you suggest people do when they prepare for a possible recession? Because if you ask some people, they're like, we're in a recession. Some people are like, I think we're about to be in a recession. So what is the possible scenario here?
Yeah, so the good thing about hearing news about a recession means that you can actually prepare for the recession before it comes, so that if it does come, everyone will be ready. So when you start hearing the news about a recession, is it coming in 2022? Is it coming in 2023? The first thing you need to make sure to do is you do not panic. You absolutely need to start with staying calm, because that's going to be the best place that you can really start to approach your finances. Then you're going to want to start doing a little bit more research around the recession. Is it coming this year? Is it coming next year? If you're already thinking about these things, you're starting to ask the right questions. Visit thebalance.com, for example, for some more advice on what to do with your money. And then you really want to start looking at that budget of yours. Perhaps you're spending a little bit too lavishly. I don't know about you, Marisol. I love buying shoes. Maybe this is the time that I need to start cutting back a little bit on some of those things to really prepare myself for the times ahead.
Yeah.
Cutting back, that's the painful part.
I know. I bought nothing on Amazon Prime Day because of this very reason.
All right. Well, Kristen, what should folks be doing when it comes to their savings versus their debt in a situation like this?
Absolutely. So the first thing you're going to want to do is really start to increase that emergency savings. Unfortunately, recessions, as you guys were mentioning, we did see a lot of folks getting hired. For recessions, a lot of people start to lose their jobs. Unemployment starts to go up. So you want to prepare for any reality where you might not have your job anymore. So really start to build up that emergency savings. How much? Start with 6 months and then build on from there. But then you also want to start paying down any debt that you have. Your debt is probably going to get more expensive. That credit card bill is only going to get more and more expensive. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is, perhaps if you are concerned about your job security, avoid making really large purchases. A recession might not be the time for you to buy a house or buy a car, because you might not be able to make those payments later.
So when I'm looking at my budget, I'm thinking about 2 college tuitions, something very different than what my 86-year-old mother is thinking about. How should older folks prepare differently? What should they be thinking about?
This is such a great question, especially right now with the markets absolutely in a tailspin. I know particularly a lot of folks are probably out there right now looking at their retirement accounts, you know, grabbing fistfuls of hair and screaming. There is something that you can absolutely do. First and foremost, you really want to start mitigating some of the risk in your portfolio. Perhaps start investing a little bit less in stocks. Those go up and down pretty wildly. Start looking at bonds, and those Series I bonds, they're actually a really great inflation hack, not just for the older folks, but for everyone out there that's watching. Definitely check some of those I bonds out.
And Kristen, typically, how long does something like this last historically? To wait it out, to sort of sit pat and don't make these dramatic moves. How long historically have recessions lasted?
You know, a lot of folks are actually saying that if we go into a recession, it might not be that long and it might not be that bad. Some folks might not actually remember, but we technically did go into a recession when the pandemic started, and it lasted less than a year. What really is the key is not so much how long it lasts, but really some of the gains that can be made after. Recession is a great time, again, if you continue to stay employed, you still have a steady stream of income to continue to investing, right? The markets right now, everything you can think of it as being on sale. You don't want to miss on any gains that might be coming on the other side, and to really weather through the storm of that recession, which could last 1, maybe even 2 years technically, you really want to start making sure you build up all of those emergency savings to really carry you through the worst part.
Kristen Myers, thank you so much. Always with great advice. We appreciate you.
Of course, anytime.
Well, stay calm. Bottom line, I think, and don't panic, right?
Exactly.
All right, for more personal finance tips, check out thebalance.com. And
that's right.
Yeah, lots of info there, even more than what we heard.
Series I bonds. I'm running, not walking.